Welcome back. Did you change the batteries in your smoke detector when we sprang forward a few weeks ago? That's just one of the simple things you should do to protect your families from fire. Joining me now is Donald Strother from the Gwinnett County Fire Department with tips on why it's so important and what else you need to do to make sure you're all covering all your bases when keeping you and your family safe. And you are the Assistant Public Information Officer for Gwinnett County Fire. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Because we take a lot of this for granted. We figure that it's up, and we talked about this. Detector, smoke alarm. What's the difference?
Smoke alarms are what we call or consider self-contained. Smoke gets into the alarm itself, and it knows to actually audibilize or tell the residents or the occupants that there's something going on in the home. But a smoke detector is something that's actually interconnected, something that you probably see more in a business, where once smoke hits it, it has to send a signal to an enunciator panel. That panel then knows whether or not to send a visual alarm that flashes, an audible alarm, activate the sprinkler system. So these are smoke alarms.
Okay, smoke alarms. So what about these alarms that's so different from years ago?
Well, the thing is the life expectancy. These are 10-year alarms. Wow. And so they actually contain batteries that also last for 10 years. And so we try to encourage individuals to make sure that every 10 years they swap them out, but that's something that's new in technology. Before, you didn't have that type of life expectancy.
And you and I talked about this. Some of them are hardwired, but they still have batteries.
Correct. Hardwires are typically what you're going to find in the newer homes, and we always encourage residents to make sure that they have batteries in them, because if the power were to go out of the home, so to speak, then the battery would actually function as a backup to make sure that there was still some type of system in place to alert the residents that there's something going on in the home.
Is it a good idea, would you guys say, when you change the battery or test it, to actually work through an escape plan with your family as well?
Absolutely. We always encourage ones to actually go to NFPA.org, National Fire Protection Association. And there it's actually encouraged, because there are codes as well as standards, encouraged to actually have an escape plan in place, but then practice that twice a year. That way you can develop that muscle memory so that if an actual emergency takes place, you're not overwhelmed with fear. You actually know exactly what to do. And in addition to that, twice a year, even include what we call night drills.
Wow.
Take the time to practice it, because sometimes that emergency might happen at night, and the eyes focus a little differently at that point in time.
And something I thought was interesting, we're used to having a smoke detector perhaps around the kitchen area, in a hallway between bedrooms, but you said that's not enough.
It's not. NFPA.org, it encourages to not only have smoke alarms on individual floors or each floor of the home, but also outside of any room where someone actually sleeps, but also inside of the room where individuals sleep. So you can't have enough protection.
That is amazing, and you're going to have to catch me, because every time I say the wrong thing. Smoke alarms. And you guys in the community in Gwinnett actually go around and give them out to residents at some periods.
We do. We have what we call smoke alarm blitzes, where we will go into certain neighborhoods and go from door to door, trying to find out whether or not the individuals need them in their home. And if they do need them, then we'll actually install them, or maybe even after a medical call, crews are equipped on the fire apparatus to actually go in and actually install smoke alarms if in fact they're necessary. And if not, then we'll at a minimum check to make sure the batteries are good, and sometimes it could be just something as simple as replacing the batteries.
I was looking at that. I think we went with you on that one. That was Captain Rutledge.
Correct.
Out there, because there was a period where there were so many fires, and you all were very concerned, somewhere in like places where a lot of folks were living, that they needed to have these smoke alarms up.
Yes, ma'am. We really try to make sure that we're active within the community, not just educating, but putting things in place to make sure that residents are actually safe in their homes.
And these aren't the only important things. You also recommend carbon
monoxide
detectors.
Correct. The carbon monoxide alarms are just as important as smoke alarms, because carbon monoxide is something that does not have color, nor does it have odor. So it could be present in the home and you don't even realize that. And really what carbon monoxide is essentially gas or something that's been burned but hasn't completed its burning cycle, because if it had completed it, then the smoke alarm would detect it. But in this instance, a carbon monoxide is just as paramount as a smoke alarm.
Bad when you're sleeping. Thank you so much for all those great tips.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for this edition of Public Affairs on Peach. We'd love you to join in on the conversation because we're going to take this to Facebook right now. If you have a topic you'd like to see us cover, let us know. Send us an email, publicaffairs@cbs46.com, and be sure to like Public Affairs on Peach on Facebook. There we post our upcoming episodes, ask for your feedback, and discuss some of the things we didn't get to talk about during the show. That's it for this week's edition of Public Affairs on Peach. We'll see you back here next Sunday morning. Have a great one. Great job. Thank you.